Hello everyone and welcome back to I Was a Teenage Exocolonist, and let's just continue where we left off. And I am just quickly gonna check if there is anything to pick up, otherwise we are going to go and do the Mushwood project finally. So yeah, let's do some xenobotany. You're really in the groove, munching on day-glow roasted pixie beans and feeling just good. Like everything is going right for once. You catch yourself giggling for no reason. For fun, you decide to put a pixie bean through the analyzer. Sure, your dad already studied them, but there's gotta be stuff you still don't know about them. Like, you only just discovered today how incandescently delicious they are roasted. Maybe you can figure out why they glow. Then you could make everything glow. I mean, not gonna lie, it kinda sounds like people are drugged. The analyzer spits out a bunch of info and congruence helps you interpret it. She says, as if she really needs to ponder anything. These readings are different than the initial ones, suggesting possible amplification with certain hormones for higher bioreactivity in situ. In regular words, congruence, please. Pardon me, Selene. I mean, they might mess with human brain functions under some conditions. We should perform the analysis again. Ah. Probably not the best for teenagers to eat then. This sounds important. You run more samples of roasted pixie beans through the analyzer, but you only get more frustrated. Are you certain these are clean samples? Congruence asks. I am detecting anomalies in the readings. Excuse me for asking, but have you washed your hands? Ew, Congruence, of course you have. You don't know what to do. You try everything, even scrubbing the beans clean with acid. Congruence reverts to her most robotic, focused entirely on figuring out this puzzle. When her normally chipper voice goes monotone and cold, it makes you feel so lost. You're never going to get this right. You start to feel tears prickling your eyes. Yeah, let's run the experiment correctly. You wipe your eyes and try to focus. Once the samples are finally scanned, you help Congruence run simulations to see what effect the pixie beans might have on different types of brain chemistry. Do you have permission to do this, Selene? It requires significant power, she asks. You wave your hands at her. Of course, sure, whatever. You giggle. No one's here to stop you, right? Processing all that simulation data makes the greenhouse lights flicker. You might get in trouble for that later, but what do you care? You're doing science! Congruence chews on the results for, well, less time than it would have taken you, but still an appreciable amount of time for her, a supercomputer. She says finally. Selene, have you been feeling not yourself lately? As if your thoughts and your reactions are more dramatic, even more so than usual? Well, now that you think about it. Obviously, we test for toxicity before we clear native plants for consumption, Congruence continues. But there are limitations. For example, accounting for the hormonal fluctuations of people undergoing puberty. Congruence explains that there seems to be a chemical in pixie beans that hyperbonds to estrogen and testosterone, and that combination of molecules activates receptors in your brain way more than just the hormones alone. The chemical will build up over weeks first, then it's going to hit a flashpoint and... You look at the beans you've been munching all afternoon, all week. Uh-oh. You call your dad in to take a look over your findings. There's no way he mutters as he scrolls his hollow palm, then he stops. Well, I'll be Jimmy-eyed. How are you feeling, Selene? You look over from where you've been balancing a sample beaker on your forehead. The beaker slides off and you bounce it off your knee a few times before catching it. Then you burst out laughing for no reason at all. Your dad blinks at you. Well, that answers my question. We've got to stop eating those beans right now. Your dad looks distraught. Flulu was right, he says, collapsing on a nearby chair and rubbing his eyes. She didn't trust these things, but shit, she's going to be pissed we don't have another successful food source. You look at him in shock. You hardly ever see him swear. It must be worse than you think. I mean, it's basically a food source gone. Your dad sits there in silence for a long time. You bring your mushwood samples into the lab. You're going to study these and revolutionize the use of mushwood lumber. Maybe. Okay, I guess we're doing this now. I thought I was going to miss out on it, but I guess not. Study this mushwood! You examine the mushwood under a microscope and take notes on its cellular structure. Part of the reason it seems to be harvested in wet is because the cells get so saturated that they lose structural integrity and turn to, well, mush during glow. Studying the exact process by which the cells take in water leads to a breakthrough. It might be possible to hack the process and stop the mushwood trees from taking on too much water during wet. If they don't take on as much water, they won't take as long to dry. You should be able to develop a spray that the loggers can apply to the fruiting body of the mushwood, the part that sticks out above ground, to close its pores. Reducing negative pressure in the body should stop it from pulling so much water from the mycelial network underground. This is great! Logging will be much more efficient now. Are we actually going to work now? Okay, good. There we go. Awesome. And we have a nice amount of kudos. So, more collectibles. Collectibles respawn faster and more slots are filled. Nice. I'm gonna check if there is anything to collect. Otherwise, we are going to the shop. Okay, so let's go in here. Supply depot. Yes, I want to buy this, the gardening trowel. Awesome. Let's go survey. Let's see if we can find something for socks. So maybe not survey, maybe check around here, because I'm guessing that socks is from somewhere around here. So explore nearby. Hello, mushwood. What's this? You come across a cluster of mush trees. They're not fully grown yet, but they're still pretty big. It might be good to harvest them before they get all gross and mushy during the rainy season. Cut down those trees. You spend the day cutting down mush trees. They're so light even before they're fully dried out. You drag them towards the logging camp, where you're congratulated for your efforts. Yay! Awesome. And here's what? A nearby pond has dammed up and washed out the path here. The path continues on the other side. Bravely jump over it! There we go. You bravely fall in and get wet. You flounder towards the other side, soaked but victorious. Sure, I guess you could see it that way. Personally, I would not. Not after getting wet. Hello? Oh. Well, this one seems friendlier. Like a mouse? Your way is blocked by a strange small creature with 1 foot and 4 large eyes, 2 of which blink sideways on top of its head like frog eyes. Oh, this must be a hop eye. It looks way different from the one on the card. You've heard people talk about them, but you've never seen one up close. When you try to walk past it, it nips painfully at your heels, but when you back off, it just stops and stares at you. What's its deal? There we go. Very nice. You stop trying to get past it and just listen. Oh, you can hear little squeaking noises from nearby. It's probably warning you away from its nest. You carefully avoid the nest while speaking in soothing tones. The agitated little guardian titters warnings at you, but eventually lets you by. Awesome. What are we at? Okay, we should be fine. Let's check this thing. There in the clearing, the most majestic creature you've ever seen. Sure. It's like a unicorn from your dad's storybooks, but with leathery reptile skin that shines when the light hits it. It moves so softly, like it doesn't even disturb the ground. It could be dangerous, but you want to see what it does. Be as quiet as possible. There we go. As you settle in to watch it from behind a strand of mush trees, the Unisaur looks up towards you, startled by your movement. You try to hold perfectly still and quiet your breathing. After a tense moment, it goes back to its business. First, it sniffs out a good tree and rubs the scent glands in its neck against it thoroughly. Then it pees like a crystal waterfall on a rock. Everything it does seems magical. Sure. Next, it sharpens its horn against a rock which is scored with marks from having done this before. This must be its favorite sharpening rock. You notice the bulge in its stomach. It must have had a huge meal recently. Eventually, it curls up for a nap. You quietly sneak away. This was so wonderful. Vertumna is a magical place, and I'm liking the fact that my stress went down. Well, now it went up again, but... Oh, hello, Dis. The second sun is beginning to set, and you're planning your route back to the gates when you spot Dis in the distance. He waves you over. "Hi, Selene," he says gloomily. He sighs. "I wish we didn't have to go home. I wish we could stay out here forever." I mean, I would like to stay out here longer than I can because of the stress, but yeah, sure. Yeah, me too. "What if," he begins, "what if we didn't go home? Today, I mean. What if we stayed out and camped overnight?" He gestures to the pack on his back.
I brought a tent just in case, and a perimeter sensor, and I found a spot right near the depot that looks safe.
Let's go for okay, I guess. This sets up the tent while you place the perimeter posts around the edge of the clearing. If anything trips this invisible wall around your campsite, at least you'll know about it. Without even saying goodnight, Dis crawls into the tent, takes off his jacket and stuffs it under his head, then curls up in a ball facing the wall. He falls asleep almost immediately. You crawl in beside him and pull a thermal blanket over yourself. You're exhausted from a long day of hiking in the jungle, so despite the excitement of being out in the wild at night, you quickly fall asleep as well. You both wake up to a blaring alarm and bright lights filling the campsite. It's the perimeter alert! Something must have triggered it. Dis sits bolt upright and looks at you with wide eyes. Should you go out there to check? Work up the courage to look outside. There we go.
I'm brave.
You both carefully open the door and peek out through a crack. Nothing. Whatever it was, the lights and noise must have scared it off. The sun is almost up and you are definitely not going back to sleep after that, so the two of you eat soy rations and quietly watch the sunrise over the jungle together. When the surveyors open the gates and start prepping for the day, you pack up your gear and go home. You expect the worst, but nobody even noticed you were gone. You left the privacy curtain on your bed closed, and your parents must have come in late and left early, thinking you were asleep there the whole time. You're lucky, but it also makes you feel a little sad. Yeah. Understandable. Hello, Dis. Dis is sitting in the grass near the big gates that leads out to the jungle. He's just staring out into nothingness and picking absent-mindedly at the weeds. He pretends not to notice you approach. Are you okay? Dis glances up at you. He sees your look of honest concern, which seems to make him angry. He frowns in disgust.
That's such a stupid question, he mutters. Why do people keep asking me that?
Sorry. Dis shrugs.
Meh, whatever. It's not like people really care.
Sit down with him. He shifts uncomfortably as you sit, but doesn't say anything. You both just hang out saying and doing nothing. You're starting to wonder if Dis will ever acknowledge you when he says,
I've got to go.
As he starts down the hill, he pauses and says,
This is a good spot. I'll probably come back here tomorrow.
Alright. Anything of interest anywhere? Ooh, there's something here. A bubber fruit. Alright. Now, what do we want to work on? I do want to get some of these up, I think. So maybe do some defense. It wouldn't hurt to get toughness up as well. Yeah, defense training. Oh no, right, that's combat, not toughness, but yeah, still good. You've heard Security Chief Rhett is on the lookout for lookouts. That is, for kids to chill out on top of the walls all afternoon and count Xenos. Sounds way better than going to class. He gives you a once-over, eyes narrowed. Alright, he says, look over there, at the end of the field. What does that sign say? Read it out loud. You can read the sign easily. It says, if you can read this, your eyesight is 20/20. Huh, what a weird sign. What does that mean? Rhett nods in approval. Good, you pass. Come back next month and I'll put you on the roster. Alright. I wonder what that gives. I mean, it should give perception, considering. Very nice. Let's check if there's anything to collect. Otherwise, I think I will rest. Although I do want to find out what you get from the lookout. You get perception and animals. Okay. Cool. Plus 10 stress. Yeah, we can do that. Sure. You show up bright and early for muster with the other garrison recruits. It's mostly younger people. The older, more experienced security officers are all posted up for guard duty. Nem is here, though, her rowdy red hair tied back into a poof. She shoots you a little grin as she falls in formation beside you. You shift from foot to foot awkwardly, not sure where to put your hands. Nem nudges you with her elbow and gestures that you should stand like her, with your hands clasped loosely behind your back. You manage that just as Security Chief Rhett comes to speak to the recruits. Good morning, recruits, he calls, his voice cutting through the still morning air. He pauses, looking at the assembled band of motley youth, and taps his ear. Salute him. Rhett crosses his arms. Well, we'll be working on that, he says. Working in the garrison isn't like other jobs, children. Here, you'll be expected to give 100% every day. If you burn some food in the kitchen or shovel the wrong pile of dirt in geoponics, it's no big deal. But here, it can be a matter of life or death. Not just for you, but for everyone in the colony. No pressure. Loyalty, dedication, self-sacrifice, and honor. These are the soldier's creed, Rhett says, steely-gazed and even. You wonder how many battles he saw on Earth. Just like your mom, he doesn't like to talk about it. This is not a place for half-assed kids to run around and play soldier. You look around awkwardly at the other recruits. Isn't this a little intense for lookout duty? Rhett catches your attention wavering and speaks directly to you, staring you right in the eye. Laziness and ego have no place here, he says. If you slack off and let something slip past you, you could die. Your friends and family could die. This isn't school, he booms. This is real life, real danger. If you even blink too long, we're all dead. A bit, over the top there. Take the no blink challenge seriously. Yeah, fine. It hurts your eyeballs, but you stare Rhett down until he actually laughs? Well, he cracks a smile anyway, and he looks away first. That's the spirit, Selene, he says, clapping you on the shoulder. I don't mean to scare you kids, he addresses the rest of the group, but I really do need you to know that this isn't a fun little game. You can't sneak your little friends into the watchtower. You can't work on your homework. You can't catch up on sleep. Even though lookout duty seems like an easy job for kids to do to keep busy, it's very important. I need you to take it seriously. Like Selene here. Sure. There we go. Awesome. Nice. Anything to collect? doesn't look like it. Alright. Well, let's go and relax somewhere. Let's relax in the park. Selene! Your mom's voice rings through the garden before you even see her. You and Rikki-Tikki pause in your tracks. Then your Riki slithers away and hides under a bush. Your mom thunders down the path. "Where is the little pink bastard?" she hollers, waving around a gardening trowel. "They ate my begonias!" Your mom's been nurturing a couple pots of begonias, beautiful flowering bushes with delicate blooms. Like most plants from Earth, they're exceedingly precious. Once the seed bank is used up, the only way to make more is to successfully propagate them here on Vertumna. Sorry? You hear a hacking noise from the underbrush. Rikki-Tikki creeps out from under the bush and, as if on cue, horks up a wet mass of pink and yellow petals. Your mom fixes her angry gaze on you. "Your pet is a menace," she exclaims. "At least spiders back home ate other pests. This one is a pest." "That's a bit harsh." She puts her hands on her hips. "You should just release the damn thing. Who knows what it's going to grow up to be? Everything here just keeps growing. Nothing on this planet knows when to stop. Like my begonias, perfectly contained in their little pot. They knew when to stop." I mean, sure, I could probably do that. But I also agree with those. I mean, a bit unfair. It's not a well, partially sentient, I guess. But, like, I doubt it thinks the way that a human does. I mean, it is an animal, ma'am. Let's go with that. It's not Rikki-Tikki's fault. Your mom points at her eyes, then points at Rikki-Tikki. "I'm watching you," she mutters. Now, I do not want to get rid of those. And we're back into glow. Oh, crystal. Nice. Alright, well, not really much to do. But yeah, let's actually get that toughness up. That was sports ball, right? Yeah. So let's do that. Yeah, okay, we've already done that before. It's not a priority concern, I know. There we go. Perfect. Another year, another glow. Everyone's pretty sure there's going to be an attack this year, so the colony is on high alert. You're collecting glowflies in the geoponics gardens with Cal and Nem when the sirens begin to wail. You all stop what you're doing and look at each other nervously. Your parents run off to help defend the farms, telling you to get inside the greenhouses and stay quiet. Nem declares she's going to the walls to watch the soldiers fight. She knows a good spot. I mean, I kinda feel like doing that or that. I don't want to do that. That's the boring choice. Like, my combat isn't the greatest, so let's watch from the walls with Nem. You and Nem race towards the walls and scramble up so you can watch from a safe distance.
"Did we miss anything good?" she pants. "Oh, look, there's my brother. Come up here."
You probably should not get his attention away from the fighting. Or, defending. Calm looks around for the source of the voice, squinting up at you when he spots you on the walls. He yells up at you to stay put, and then... yeah. The animals burst through the gates. The wood splinters in every direction, and hop ice pour in. Hop ice? Quickly overwhelming the guards. Hop ice are small, but in large numbers, they're fierce. You watch the security officers manage the chaos. They have gloves that shoot arcs of lightning, and if you watch close, you can practically see the skeletons of the little animals light up from within when they're hit. Cool.
Look at him go,
Nem cries, cheering for her brother.
Get him, Calm. Watch out. Oh, he's okay.
She clutches your arm.
He's so brave. I want to be cool like him when I grow up.
You could really impress Nem by going down there and helping out. No. I do not care for that, so yeah, let's stay where it's safe. Eventually, the defense forces manage to push back the creatures. The rest of their broken swarm flee back into the wilderness. You and Nem slip home before you get into trouble. Your parents are arguing quietly at your little table. I'm telling you, it wasn't a fluke, your mom says. They're not just wild animals. They have a plan. The fields, the lights. Okay, your dad replies, taking her hands across the tabletop. We have to tell people what we saw in geoponics. They look up, noticing you in the doorway. Your dad's worried expression quickly changes to a smile. Hey, Rutabaga. What happened to the fields? Your mom stands up. Don't worry about that, she snaps. Get to bed. It's late, and we have a lot of work to do tomorrow to clean up. I don't really see the point in trying to keep, what's happening away from the children's eyes or whatever, because, we're living here. Let us know what's going on. Like, maybe people would stop going against what the government wants and whatever if we knew what was going on. But yeah, start age 14. Oh wow, you've got longer hair. And you've got shorter hair. Oh well, hello Diz. You look very different. Alright. Oh, another one. Hi, Cal. I am going to end this episode here. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider leaving a like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!